etc., etc. And it was such a starkness in terms of if we were as dedicated to our faith, including our body, as these people were, how much further would we be? Amen? Okay, so I'm going to ask a couple of questions. Is that okay? Yeah? Okay? I've always wanted to be a TV host. So what do you... Okay, so Lisa, give us one benefit we can enjoy by using any of your products.
Any more products? Oh, okay. On the mic, yeah. One benefit is that my products have no parabens or phthalates or synthetic perfumes. So what I mean by that, there's no toxins. What we don't realize is a lot of our products, there's chemicals in them that harm or impact our hormonal balance. Our hormones are important for everything, the way we think, how we move, our mood, everything. And so my products are 100% natural and free, and the packaging that I use is, it requires me to use less or no preservatives.
Thank you so much. Just to let you know, I have used Lisa's, yeah? I went to Lagos, yeah? Whenever I go to Lagos, do you know when you get bitten? Do you know when they see our Atkins coming, they meet you at the airport? Yeah? Okay? This time, hey, I came back without a bite because of our product. So let me just say that. Amber.
What was the question?
My question to you is slightly different, yeah? So tell us about the research you're doing and why we should support you in your research.
Okay. So the research I'm currently doing is around the experiences of Black women who experience difficulties after childbirth. So I'm looking at symptoms or experiences of distress, experiences, so maybe thinking or feeling things that others aren't, feeling quite suspicious. So these things are usually linked to postpartum psychosis, which is a diagnosis, but I don't really want to focus on that because I don't always think that's helpful and accessible. I think for Black women, access to healthcare is a huge, huge issue. So gaining a diagnosis can also be a huge issue. So I want to look at experiences without a focus on the diagnosis, if that makes sense. I'm such a rambler. I really need to be... But yeah, so I really want to focus on accessing care. So what stopped you, what's helped you, family support, what you've got around you to help you cope. Obviously, it's a very specific experience I'm looking at the moment because it has to be for this type of research. But yeah, I think I've had a lot of support whilst kind of curating this research. I think I wouldn't have even known where to start. I think as a white woman, I have got the faintest clue about these experiences and what they mean and how to approach this. So I've had a lot of support from Black women who have children, don't have children, are researchers, have gone through similar experiences to try and make the research as kind of applicable to Black women as possible. But I am obviously still learning. I could never understand, and I think that's where I wanted to come in about the importance of taking part in research, because I think there are amazing Black researchers out there who need support and help in terms of recruitment, because they're doing such valuable work, and that's really important. And there's also white researchers and researchers from other races and ethnicities who could not begin to understand these experiences and need the support in helping them navigate how to do that research, how to understand. So I think getting involved with research can be participating in it. So this applies to me. I want to share with you my experiences, but it can also be about you're a researcher. Let me give you my experiences to help you make this research study so that it can actually help people. I've gone on a big tangent. I don't even know where.
That's excellent. That's really excellent. And I think it's so important. So one of the things is Amber has come, and I think it's a bit of a call that unless we step out and actually support these research projects, yeah, we're not going to get to know some of the truths. But also what the reality also is this, yeah, who do we trust, yeah? in terms of the research, what is the motivation behind the research? Now, for me, it's very simple. If Glynis has said this woman's okay, she's okay. Does that make sense? Glynis gives us a signal, because there's many researchers who are being paid by pharmacy companies, to come up with certain conclusions which push a drug. Yeah? That's not your agenda. Your agenda is to really talk about the lived experiences of black women, and so therefore, so what we'll do is at the end make sure that we have your details, sort of thing, so we can kind of encourage those, because one of the things we have on this charity is we have women who are mothers, who are going to be mothers, who have different, we have them in the house, so we're going to do our best to support you, okay? So, Glynis, now, one of the things, when you get to know Glynis, Glynis, every time I see Glynis, I get nervous because she's going to tell me about myself and my health. But it's a good thing because she cares. Glynis, one time you kind of gave a description of sugar. What was the description that you called sugar? And why did you call it that?
I think I would have called it legal mafia or legal cocaine. And it's legal cocaine because we don't get arrested for going to the supermarket and buying sugar. But it destroys us. We are more hooked on sugar than we are on anything else. There's sugar and the end product of sugar in things that we don't start to even think about. Someone said to me the other day, can you tell me why they have sugar in my mouthwash that I use before I go to bed? It don't make sense. I brush my teeth, I put sugar in it, I go to bed. I just laughed. And I thought, well, it's in everything. It's in everything. That's how, they tell us that's what opens our appetites. So sugar is, if you were just to pick one enemy and you let that enemy be sugar, you will do good. Because it is that much on us. Every single thing. So there's a video going around right now. It says, sugar in the brain, dementia. Sugar in the eyes, sugar in the teeth, and it goes through all the symptoms right the way down. Sugar in this is this, sugar in that. And you think, wait, hang on, sugar, everything?
So let me just pause you there. Are you saying that sugar is linked to dementia?
Yeah.
Really? Did anybody know that before? And that's why there's been such a proliferation of dementia. Because of the introduction of sugar into our diet.
Yeah. And it's so, now I go different places and I look at how pretty sugar is. They make flowers with it. They make all sorts of nice looking things. It's very attractive, sugar. And they use color. I was speaking to somebody a couple of days ago. He does a lot of photography for food. And he was saying that when he's taking pictures, he has to say to whoever it is, do not cook the food. It has to be just the right amount of cooking. And then he has to use certain colors to be able to make the food look healthy. All of this is going on, and we are none the wiser. We're making our grocery list, and then we go to the grocery. There's a plan for us. And it's not that people necessarily want us to be sick. They're busy making money. And their thing is, nobody didn't force you. You're an adult. So you make your own decision. Do you see what I mean? When they inject meat that is going dark because it's stale to make it come back to look nice and pink, so we buy it. It's not because they want us to get cancer. But it is that they want their profit. They do not want to throw away that meat. So it's up to you if you buy it. Right? But that's the kind of situation we're facing. So one of the things, in my doing of gut health, there's a product there that's called Phytopower B. Phytopower B has the ability to block sugar from being absorbed. The rate of diabetes is going through the roof. And the age is coming down. So we have to ask, why are young people getting diabetes? When I did my training into health 50 years ago, diabetes was like, as old people get diabetes. Now we have all these young diabetics. You think, why are you a diabetic? What have you been doing? But it's our food.
Amen. Thank you so much. I think it's really poignant. Last year I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic, and it was really profound because as I got the phone call, I had an almond croissant in my hand. You understand? And then I was convicted. Do I finish it? But this is a serious thing because my children say, you're the healthiest out of all of us. Yeah? Thank you. I go to the gym, you understand, I work out, etc., and yet I'm pre-diabetic because that sugar thing, yeah, has got me. Because I've cut out all the fizzy drinks, so you think you're doing okay, but then you think you're drinking, and it's in that sort of thing. So thank you so much. Ronald, you spoke about the church, and you spoke about that we do not really understand our health. Do you want to elaborate on that a bit more for us?
Okay, I want to be a good Christian and go to the Bible, all right? 3 John 1 and 2. Beloved, I wish above all things that you may prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Okay? Particularly in churches where people are of African descent are located, we tend not to engage issues of our health in the way that other communities do. Okay? Whether it's because of the type of employment we have or the responsibilities, there's also a social factor related to it. If you are predominantly in a low-income group, you spend less on good food. You spend less on even getting checkups and things of that nature. But also our spirituality. We tend to believe that things that God has placed us responsible for, we pass it back to God. Okay? So instead of taking responsibility for ourselves, okay? Now, remember that Jesus had a bias towards making sure that his community was healthy. That's why we have so many miracles. That is why there is so much healing spoken of in the text. And as you study first century Palestine, you discover that as the church grew, the communities around became more healthier because of the church taking a responsibility for caring and for producing things that were wholesome. So when we speak of righteousness, we tend to speak about righteousness as if it's just a spiritual issue. Righteousness is actually having an impact on social, health, and community. It has an impact on all of those. So that's why I tend to try and deal with the spirituality of our people. Because if you can make that link, some of you may be aware, a few years ago I was a pastor in Battersea. And I decided to do some research on the folks who come to the altar. All right? And 80% of the persons who come to the altar because of health reasons. Okay? All right? And it is interesting that I've got to tell you this. Are we on YouTube?
We recorded, I think we recorded, yeah.
Okay. I had a sister leading a service, and she stated, I've got diabetes. Okay, you know, but she wanted to be healed so that she could eat what she wants to eat. Okay. All right? And I heard her saying it's it's tiring monitoring your food, you know? And she just wanted to be, but we are all required to be responsible, okay? And part of the responsibility of the church is that we have got to help our people to engage health. And so kudos to this church for having an event like this. You are 1 in 500, okay? Because most folks move away from this, okay? And so I'll stop there.
Wow. Can you imagine? I love the fact that what you said is that we try to abdicate our responsibilities to God, but it's our responsibility. Amen? Okay. I'm going to ask you one more question, Ronald, yeah? And one of the things, I just want to make this very, very clear. When I ask this question, this is not for the elders and the deacons, yeah? This is for all of us, because we are the church. The church does not long, okay? We are all the church. It is a collective. If I was to say to you 3 things, because sometimes we need to give it really practical, what are 3 things that we could do as a church, yeah, to help to improve the health of our congregation?
Okay, 3 things are, first of all, we need to be aware of what's happening with the members of the church. It is amazing how ignorant we are of the issues affecting our church. We are very, and this is not here, Pastor, okay? But you know, in many churches, they're concerned about the offering. Okay? They're concerned about the offering. They're concerned about the amount of people coming in. But there's no inquiry about what's happening with you when you step out. Okay? So be aware of the health issues, the environmental issues. Okay? 1. Secondly, be engaged. Engage with these, even if it is to bring leaflets from your health center, what's happening, and make sure it's available to members. Let's be engaged in what is happening to our members. Make sure we know what's going on so we can speak about it. Just a few weeks ago, I stood up in a church and was speaking about prostate cancer, all right, and saying this is an issue for us, okay? Our men are disproportionately dying from prostate cancer because we get checked too late. Okay? We take up the service too late. So be engaged. And the third is be an advocate. Policy, health is really a political issue. Huh? All right? Your health, depending on the rules related to what happens with petrol and gasoline, will have an impact on your breathing, your asthma. Okay? Health is a political issue, and so we need to engage and make sure that right policies are implemented in our institutions, in our areas. Just simple things like where the market is getting it pedestrianized rather than vehicles passing has a major impact. Okay? So those are the 3 things. Be aware, be engaged, and be an advocate.
Amen. Now, did you hear that? That is a collective responsibility. Yeah? I want us to think about how we bring this into our life groups. I want us to think about how we bring it into our men's group. Yeah? But as I said, this is not for just the elders and the deacons. This is something that we all must do. Can I get an amen? Amen. Excellent. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask Linus. And then, in fact, I'm going to ask one more question, then I'm going to open it up to the, yeah? Yeah? Okay. And what I also want to do is this year, we have, as I said, we have Lisa up here, but we also have other stands, and we have other people who have experiences when it comes to health. So you're going to hear them, because I think sometimes when you hear people's stories, it helps you to think, whoa, okay? So Amade, we're going to ask you to kind of just share some of your story. Is that okay? And Katrina, we're going to ask you to share some of your story as well. Is that okay? Okay, so has anybody heard of gut health? Because this was a new term for me. I don't know about you, but like, hands up if you've never heard of gut health. Okay, so you're all, okay. So a bunch of smart people, but they still go to McDonald's. That was a rebuke right there. Amen. Tell us a little bit about gut health and why we should care.
Why we should care. Gut health, I think, as I was saying before, is that the area of our body called our gut, which stretches from our mouth right down to the end of our anus, that whole tract, okay, is called our gut. It is called our digestive tract. It has a layer there that's called the microbiome, right? And it is a structure created by God with very clear purpose. Gut health, studies have been done on the gut that is showing that any illness that we can think of starts there. Any illness that we can think of starts there. So if you think that we're running about looking to pinpoint and think, and it's all starting there, it's like, well, hang on, I need to pay attention to this area. And that is what the studies are showing. And you can literally Google it. Any illness you think about it, just put it into your phone. What's the connection between this and my gut? And see for yourself what it comes up with. It's mind-blowing. But then if you think about God's creation, when God said he made a good thing, he was serious. He was really serious. You think, wow. You think, yeah, God, I didn't realize you meant it like this. Because it's almost, if you can think of it like I don't want to say the word spider because I don't like them at all. But it's almost like that. You have this central area, and it has connections to everything, your brain, everything. And it's almost like he created a section there in the gut, in the microbiome, that feeds that other area of the body. Okay? So that's why I say it's like a spider. It has a central area, which is the whole microbiome, and then this goes off into all the other parts of our body. The study that's going on now, the levels of study that's going on now about our gut and the health of our gut, it is really mind-blowing. It is mind-blowing. And so people are realizing, but wait, so you mean to tell me if I did this and made this change and did this thing will go? So I've heard people say, I was pre-diabetic. You go back, doctor says, well, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. But I've heard years, even when I worked as a nurse, keep telling people, you are pre-diabetic. You need to do something about it. But you see, that's too big. Do what? You see, do what? But when it's broken down for you, and you realize, oh, this I must stay away from, this I must do more of, the power of water, mind-blowing. We've had people come down when it comes to their diabetic score, their blood score, coming from all in the 20-something, 30-something, 40-something, all the way down to single figures. So there are things we can do, but we need to be told about it and encouraged, because it's breaking habits, and habits are hard to break.
Wow.
Even when we know.
Wow.
They're very hard to break.
Thank you so much. One of the things we all know is this, yeah? We all have a condition of health. So nobody's immune from this. True? Yeah? And one of the things we tend to do is that we look at people, we look at the facade and think, yeah, they're okay. Yeah? And so when this young man told me his story, I was like, my mouth just dropped. Yeah? Okay, because you look at him and you think this is a picture of good health. Amen? But Amade, that wasn't quite the picture, was it, for you? Amade, do you want to come up and share your story?
Hi. Where's everybody? Pardon? Are they? Can I land somewhere? Can I sit? I would love to sit and talk. Yeah, sure. Thank you. Hello, panel. So my name's Amede, and I sit here with a scar which starts here and ends here, just above my stomach. And that scar is 4 years old. 2021, I had open heart surgery. The operation was a type A aortic dissection. Basically, they did plumbing in my chest. My aorta was on the verge of popping, and that would have been me not sitting here right now. But when I look at the origins of it, it comes back down to sugar. As a kid, my mom told me stories of when she was in boarding school, and when they had sugar and bread, they were good. Like they were the ones in the dorm, had sugar and bread, and they were good. Sugar in particular, sugar and water. So growing up, there was sugar in everything. Mom would make me Weetabix, there was sugar. She would make me this, there was sugar. There was always snacks in the fridge, sugar. And I loved sugar, just and that continued. But I was also into, fitness activities. I loved playing football, Sunday league football, gymming, swimming, you name it. And I still do those things now. But I was in the gym when the issue happened. I was in the gym and I was doing my last few reps of some arm raises, and then I felt some palpitations in my chest, literally just like and it wasn't painful, but I knew that something was up, and I've never been here before. But this is where the ignorance stepped in, and it's very common amongst black men, where we may feel something, and we're like, we'll sleep it off. So I experienced those palpitations. I said, okay, cool, let me just end my session here. Let me leave and go and get some food instead of calling an ambulance or going to hospital. Let me go and get some food and chill. My favorite pie mash stop was across the road. Got some pie mash, ate, cycled home. On the cycle home, when I was going over the flyover, those palpitations appeared again. And I was like, ooh, let me just take a hot bath, and then I should be all right. I should have gone to the hospital. I went home, took a hot bath, relaxed. I was going to meet a couple of friends later. Got out the bath, felt my heart rate quite high again. So, okay, let me just go and chill out and call my friends, tell them, guys, I'm not too sure if I can meet you guys tonight. One of them said, just chill out, it's probably a panic attack. Just sit up and take some deep breaths. So I did, okay? I called the other friend. He said, yeah, it's probably a panic attack, don't know what you're going through, but just sit up and take deep breaths. Then he said, call 111. If he didn't say call 111, I would have just gone to bed and maybe not have woken up. But he said, ring 111, tell them how you're feeling. So I did so. And because there was no chest pain, I think if there was chest pain, they would have reacted quicker. But I said, no, I'm okay, there's no pain. It's fine. So I just waited, I stayed up, took it easy, didn't go and meet them. Got a call around 1 a.m. saying, can you come to A&E as soon as possible? I was like, yeah, fine. My mother works at this hospital, and there's a bus that goes straight to the hospital from door to door, 10 minutes. I checked, I said, there's one coming, no need to get an Uber. I should have just got an Uber. Naughty boy. I walked to the bus stop. As I was walking up the stairs in the subway, I felt a pain on my neck. So each delay was making the matter worse, each delay. Eventually got to A&E. I literally spent 18 hours there. Then they said, we need to take you to the theatre. We're going to operate you either tonight or tomorrow morning. My ignorance set in again. I was like, I don't need to go to the theatre, I'm fine. Blah, 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 blah. Little did I know. They took me to St. Bart's. They took me to the theatre, put me under. I woke up 2 days later, and that's when all the pain kicked in. I felt like I was kicked in the chest by a horse, or Mike Tyson boxed me in my chest. I don't know what it was, but it was... I remember laying there, looking at the clock. It was 9:30 on a Monday morning, saying to myself, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. It was painful. It wasn't worth getting to that point. But yeah, I ended up spending about 6 to 8 weeks in St. Bart's. A couple operations. Some of them I was wide awake. Some local operations. I just got used to being scalpeled and prodded at and whatnot. And as a result, I eventually left in December 2021. And my entire life changed. Walking up a flight of stairs was effort. It still is. Not as much as it was then, but it still is effort going up any kind of gradient. I'm able to go running now. I'm able to play football now, play five-a-side now. Cycling and whatnot. I swim still. I still do all those things. And it goes back to what Tommy preached earlier about consistency. And sticking to what you were able to do before. Yes, the threshold is a lot lower. I can't push as hard as or as quick or as much as I can anymore, but I can still do those things. But the main thing is that I wasn't paying the right kind of attention to my health. And I say that because I was paying attention to one side of my health, which was my performance. I wasn't paying entire attention to what was going in. Even though, I liked healthier options of things, but sometimes it's one element, sugar. Or for someone else, it's one element, salt. Or for someone else, it's another element, a lot of rice. Like my dad. My dad loved rice. You tell him anything else, like, that's no food. But rice, and now he's I think, type 2 diabetic in his 70s. And that's because he ate. My dad didn't drink alcohol, didn't smoke, only drinks water. But rice, that mound, rice and stew. Yeah. Are you guilty? I see you laughing. What we don't know is that rice, that carbohydrate becomes sugar. It's got a high glycemic index, unlike fonio has a low glycemic index, which is another alternative we can turn to. So it's about paying the right kind of attention, which is what I believe Glenis is trying to show us. I live to tell the tale. I think even if, I'm not sure how strong the microphone is, if I you just heard it? That's not because I'm nervous. That's not because that's just my valve in my chest. That's daily. I hear that. If you're speaking to me as I'm talking, that's what's going on in my head. When I'm on stage and I'm singing and I've got in-ears in my ears, I'm also hearing that along with the music that's in my ears. So but I give the glory to God that I can still do it. That's it. So, thank you.
Amade, thank you so much.
Amade, I need to just say, listen here. This is a dead man sitting here. I'm telling you, what was going on inside of that chest, there are thousands. There's no way they're going to be sitting here now. His body was saying goodbye. That was closing, because the area that was closing off, those are major blood vessels. His brain would be gone. So all of that carry on about taking time, having bath, it's like, what? God said, I have something for you to do, because you're a dead man sitting here.
Wow. God bless you. We give glory. We give glory. We give glory. We give glory. Amen. Is this helping? Is this benefiting you? Is this helping you to shift? Yeah? Okay. Let's look at another area of health. This is an area of health which affects 50% of our population, not necessarily 50%, because there's a lot of men here today, which is a good thing. Yeah? It is actually a good thing, because normally when it comes to health, we go missing. Unless it's talking about the gym, yeah? But again, Kat, come on up. Because Kat is going to talk to you about health from a totally different perspective. Okay? So let's welcome Kat.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Hi. I've done a slideshow. Oh, good, it's there. We're just going to bring it up. Yeah. 5. Yeah, you can cut me anytime. Oh. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so I'm going to be really quick with this. I'm a hair health specialist. I'm a qualified level 3 stylist, and I'm a trainee care practitioner, which is the study of trichology, so the science of the scalp. Next slide. Okay, I briefly want to talk about my business. It's called Catwalk Hair, and there, even though I'm not allowed to talk about all of them, are the people. Akin, look, you're there. Dominion Mandate. Akin mentors me for my business, and I've put a number of people who make what I do possible. Next, please. Okay, skip that one. This hair, I just wanted to show that hair is more about identity, culture, it's about options. We've done a lot of innovation. It's about our style and our self-expression. And when I deal with my clients, it's also about your confidence. Next slide. Okay, I'm going to be talking about the nutrition of this healthy hair, scalp health, and a general blueprint for hair care. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the structure of your hair. The outer layer is called the cuticle, it's your protection. The inside is called the cortex, it's where your chemical changes take place. It's the DNA of your hair, which is density, hair color, things like that. The medulla, it doesn't actually have a purpose. Okay, next slide. Okay, so when I have a hair consultation, my first question is your health. It's what are you eating? Have you got a balanced diet? Are there health concerns I need to think about? Are you getting enough exercise? Do you sleep well? And the main one is water. Now, sometimes people say to me that they're drinking water, and when we get to the washing stage, I'm massaging their scalp and it's not moving. If you don't keep hydrated, your scalp isn't going to move. Your scalp's not as important as the rest of your body. You check in. So your body's going to prioritize where your hydration goes. And if you're not keeping it hydrated, you're going to get things like thinning, which is going to lead to balding. Drink your water. Also, do not gulp your water. Sip your water, because it runs through you, it can't process. Oh, okay, next slide then. This is a really healthy scalp. I went to Brussels to do a trichoscopy course so that I can scan scalps. So here you can see sebum, which is your scalp's natural moisture. You don't need to help sebum, you just need to have a healthy diet. And this will literally moisturize your scalp, you need nothing else. This is dandruff. This is when you're doing too much. This is your hair grease. This is I don't wash my hair more than once a month, if that. You're meant to wash your hair every 7 to 10 days, and whilst that's not realistic, maybe twice a month, once a month if you must, but this is what happens. And then because you see it, and you want to help it along, you go ahead and oil it. And now I can't see anything, it's sitting on your scalp, it doesn't penetrate, it's not doing anything, but, you can use heat to get it in, that really helps. But otherwise, with this, I can't even see what's wrong. I can't check for inflammation, anything. So I can't identify if there's a scalp problem. And I'm going to have to use a lot of detox shampoo to get rid of this. And even then, I can only lift a certain amount of layers. Next slide. Which is when I'll probably send you to my trichologist, Lorna Jones, for a scalp hydrofacial. That's me getting mine. Your scalp is scrubbed, it removes all the dead skin cells, it eliminates the excess oil you've put in on, and then they put a serum on, which helps improve your scalp health. So that was me, I got that done last week, and I'm going back again. It really was. Okay, most of your hair care brands are not going to sell you a detox shampoo or a clarifying shampoo. They're just going to be moisturizing. And if they're just moisturizing, we're not lifting anything. The layers are not moving. So these are 3 of my favorite ones. And I use them before all services. Next slide. How am I doing for time? Good? Okay. Oh, this is your hair. That's your hair with the cuticle closed. That's when it's raised. Shampoo will raise it. This is when it's damaged and you can't close it and you won't retain moisture and you'll get breakage. Next slide. Oh, it's not there. Okay, this was meant to be your split ends. I've got people that hang on to split ends because it gives them a bit of length. But if you don't trim your hair, it will trim itself and it will start going all the way up to the point where it's up here and it's thick, but down here is really thin. So trims are really important, maybe every 6 to 12 weeks, depending on the health of your hair. Next slide. Okay, when we're treating our hair, these are the variety of treatments that you should be doing, because sometimes we get one brand and we just stick to it because we like it, but then your hair's missing out. So moisture, you do that a lot. Protein, I probably say 2 to 3 times a year. Too much build-up will actually work in reverse and damage your hair. Bond rebuilding, people like me who have bleached their hair for no good reason need a lot of bond rebuilding treatments to rebuild the bonds that are actually in the hair. And then I do repair treatments. Next slide. Okay, hygral fatigue. For those of you who wear conditioner while you're cleaning the house with your cap on because you want it to penetrate, or you air dry. Air drying's fine, but not too often because it causes hygral fatigue. It's kind of like putting a silk shirt in the bath and soaking it and then leaving it with the water out to just dry. And you know the elasticity will be compromised. That's what happens to our hair. So, next slide. Okay, I don't work for Dyson, sadly, and I'm not sponsored by them, unfortunately, but the Dyson Supersonic is literally a must-have. It's a lot of money, but it's really worth it. If you used it for 6 months, you would literally feel the difference between your Dyson hair, like I call it, and your old hair from your old hairdryer that probably came from Ace and was the Wow that was like £15. It's not good for your hair. It's cheap metals. Dyson's technology, amazing. I bought it to test it because I didn't believe them. I took out a payment plan because I was sending it back. And now I still have it, and I've got the Airwrap styler, and last month I bought the straightener, and I'm going back for the professional hair dryer soon. It's a mortgage. My professional hairdryer is going to cost me £450. So for any of my clients, you know how much I love you, clearly. Okay, your towel. Do not use a normal towel on your hair. It's too rough. It's ripping your hair. The cuticle's getting damaged. You need a microfiber towel. You will feel the difference, I'm telling you. Honestly, I've got one actually in my case so you can feel it because you need to know. Next slide. Okay, quick. This is my daughter's hair and my son's hair. So in the pink bow, that's her hair when I haven't got time to comb it and it shrinks up. And then we've got to spend like 3 days fighting to sort it out. She's been on a satin pillowcase since she was born. It was in her pram. It was in her car seat. I was doing the most. And she has regular treatments and trims. That's my son's hair. He grew it just for fun. You see his hair's on his shoulders there. If your hair is shoulder length and you are walking around, it's going to rub and it's going to break. So what I did was I did hairstyles where it was always up, and then once it got to about here, I could then plait down again because there's no friction. It's not really going to do that. So this is where he ended up. And then he was showing off about having the longest hair in the house. So I cut it off. That's right. Don't show off. He now has a little man bun, and that's all he can have, and I keep trimming it to keep him in check because his hair will not be longer than mine. I know, Tyler. Don't tell him, Tyler. Don't tell him. That's my big son at the back. Shh, shh. So the top one is my client. She came with a relaxer. It was shoulder length. It was breaking. Her hair at the bottom is just a silk press. So we completely grew out her relaxer. She's got regular treatments. And at the time, I said, you come until your hair is there and you go because I've got other clients to help. She won't leave. She stalks me. So she's still my client. The second lady, I just know that this is my neighbor. She told me that everything I do is genetics, right? and her hair's never grown past her ear, and she doesn't believe me. So I did her hair for free, just because I like a challenge and I had to prove it. And this is the first time she's had a ponytail in her life, and she didn't know her hair could get that long because she said that it's 4C and apparently it's brittle. And actually, 4C is actually the most delicate hair you could ever have. It's literally like silk and should be handled so, but it gets like a negative connotation. It's not true. Next, please. You got to show my video, please. This is it. Yeah, please show my video, and then Akim will kick me off. Oh, it had music. Oh, this is when I bleached my hair the first time because I got silly, and I relaxed it, and it broke. And that was ripped out by a lace wig. And here I was hanging on. My hair was like there, but it was basically broken edges, so I cut it. Then I got silly and bleached it again. And now I'm growing out the bleach. And this is one of my hair clients coming up. So we started working to grow out her color, and she had thinning on her edges. We done wigs protective styling for about 6 months because I don't do silk presses if your hair isn't healthy enough. The most you probably get is a blow dry. So this, she's actually able to have a silk press. Oh, also, your hair always grows. Like, you know, people say your hair's not growing. It's actually impossible. Your nails are growing. I'm paying Correct Beauty to do my nails. If your nails are growing, your hair's growing, you're losing length from the bottom. It's breaking at the same rate as it's growing, or more. So she's decided, this is just our trims. So we trim every time she comes, but a lot of the time it's just a tiny maintenance trim. So this was her silk press error, and she's actually now wearing her hair natural. It's gonna come up. So we're working on doing a lot of braid outs, twist outs, and she's loving it.
Now, of course, all of that was applicable to me, yeah? But like, what I want to do is I want to encourage you, because we're going to wrap up this in a moment, yeah? But go to the stand. So Katrina's got a stand over there. Lisa Marie's got a stand over here. So please kind of go and engage with their products as well. But what I want to do is this, yeah? I just want to open up to the audience. Do you have any questions, yeah, that you would like to ask any of the panel? As I said, please don't leave here with a question unanswered.
Sorry, you know that gut health thing that you were talking about before? Where, like, is it stuff that you sell, or is there a place where we can get them? Because I'm interested.
Yes, you can get it from me. I do sell it. I do consultations for people looking at what in their health do they want to target. What is calling their attention? And based on that, I would suggest things. But yes, I do sell them, and I can direct you to a site to be able to get it.
Hi, Kat, it's Debs. I just wanted to know more about the Dyson Hair Wrap and why it's the best one, because I do have the other blow dryer, and it's £400 less. So please help me. Why I should invest in it?
Okay, so can I get my hairdryer slide up? Where's your hairdryer from? Oh, okay. So if it cost you £15, £20, what kind of metal do you think is in there?
It's not metal, it has a plastic end, no?
There's metal inside where the air goes through to dry your hair.
Okay.
So do you notice that when you dry your hair, you've got to use moisturizer afterwards?
Yes.
Because it doesn't just dry your hair, it dries it out. It bursts the water molecule inside the hair.
My gosh.
The Dyson doesn't do that. They need to pay me. Oh. The Dyson doesn't do that.
Okay.
It dries your hair without drying it out. So any moisture you put in beforehand is literally locked in. I don't do anything but add a light serum at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I keep telling you to come for a treatment so you can try it out.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sold.
Mm-hmm. I will see you next month.
See you next month. You've heard it here first, everyone.
No, my hair's staying like this. It ain't growing anymore. My question to any of you guys is like, as a young person, we are sometimes very ignorant to doing all these health stuff and everything. Especially me, I am very ignorant. I used to think that me playing sports will make my health better. How do I reverse what I've learned? Because we're talking about sugar basically being like illegal cocaine and stuff. And I could tell you now, me and sugar are like 5 and 6, which is bad. But what's the best way, and how like for myself mainly, do I restart and start improving my health little by little?
Okay, so the mere idea that you want to do something about it is a fantastic place to be. Because you're trusting us at this point. When you start to actually take the small bits of action, you will have your own evidence because your body will speak to you. You will notice things that right now you can't even tell me. So as I work with people, they say, let me tell you something. I didn't ever think that this was something. And they tell me of something that used to be, that they just thought was just, that's it. But they noticed the difference. And that is there for them, seeing that, right, this thing is working. And so they keep on doing it. Where I would say is that we have a consultation and you start with blocking sugar. You block the intruder, and then you work on the other things. Don't try to fix the whole thing. We are in a mess, right? So you block, and then you pay attention to some of the things that you do that are working against you, really. The idea is not to panic, but it is to take it serious, because it is. It is.
I think for me, when I, before I made my skincare brand, I went plant-based. I upped my omega oils. I increased my water intake. I exercise. I rest. I made sure I was getting, good sleep. But what I didn't do, well, actually at first I did, I tried to do it all in one hit. It wasn't sustainable. It wasn't practical. So what you do is you just take slow steps, just introduce things slowly, like just pick one thing, focus on that, do it for a week or so until you've done it. And I think also as well for me, when I learned that it takes 26 seconds for what you put on your skin to go into your body, all right? So if you wouldn't consume it, if you wouldn't eat it, then there's no point in you shouldn't use it.
As Lisa was saying that, I just thought we spray perfume. People like to smell nice. If we know some of the things they put in perfume. So it's unfair, really, to beat ourselves up, but we do need to take this as a loud bell. A very loud bell. Someone said to me the other day, you do realize that people are using pig fat in creams and soaps, and they don't realize it. I said, what do you mean pig fat? He said, yeah, so what do you think's there? It's scented, all nice, but what do you think is the bulk of what they're using? And I thought, what? But what about all those people who don't eat? They've got nothing to do with that. You bathe, you use soap. So the industry is not there to be our friend. It's not there to be our friend. So Lisa is correct. We do have to take it a bit at a time. Otherwise, we just push ourselves into a panic. Something like sleep. God, again, he's good. Sleep is not random. Sleep has a cycle. Has a cycle. It takes 90 minutes to go through a proper cycle. So when we decide we have to see a movie, we have to do this, we have to do that, and we're catching bits of sleep, how is God supposed to repair anything? It has a cycle for a reason, and it has to take us to a certain depth to be able to do the repair. When we are skirting the top, we're caught in danger. We're caught in danger when we're skirting the top. So little things, if you tell yourself, I must try to get closer to 4.5 hours. I must try to get closer to 7 hours. 7 hours is not just because somebody wants to sell something. The body needs what it needs. And it doesn't matter how busy we are, and it doesn't matter what is our title, it will throw us down if it doesn't get it. Because God said so. That's what he created. In his wisdom, that's what he created.
That question has just triggered me. Just in terms of sleep, just to remind everyone, if maybe you don't know this, but if you tend to use your devices, whether that's your mobile phone or your laptops, whatever the case may be, if you use it late at night, your screen emits a blue light. So now when I speak to people about hormones, they say, yeah, but I can't really tell if my hormones are well or not. When it gets about 9 o'clock at night, we start feeling a little bit sleepy. That's one of our hormones kicking in. That's our serotonin hormone kicking in. So during the day we have, our melatonin kicking in. During the day we have serotonin. That's a hormone that wakes you up in the morning. You feel bright and breezy. By the evening, 9, 10 o'clock at night, your melatonin starts kicking in. You start feeling sleepy. That's really when you're supposed to go to bed. But what we tend to do is we pick the mobile phone up. That blue light from the mobile phone triggers your brain through your eyes because it's a blue light and says, it's the morning. And then that's how you end up on your mobile swiping until 1 a.m. in the morning because you've now tricked your brain into thinking it's the morning time. And it actually really impacts your hormones. So I just wanted to just add that. You mentioned sleep, didn't you? That was it. Okay, cool. Hand this mic over.
Hello. I have a question about water fasting.
Water fasting?
Yeah. Is that something that you've looked into much?
Yeah, so I've actually done water fasts. It's like Kat said earlier on, water's super, super important, but it depends on how you consume it. So if I was talking to somebody in church earlier on, they're like, I kind of glug down my water, like a litre or so, whatever the case may be. That's actually really bad, because what you're doing is you're washing away your nutrients. You're supposed to sip water throughout the whole entire day. In terms of fasting, I think it gets to about the first 17 hours when your body starts to kind of trigger the healing process. And I think, I've forgotten the actual...
Autophagy?
Yeah, but it gets to a certain number of hours. I can't remember, is it 37? I think it is, can't recall now. But it gets to a certain number of hours, and that's when your body starts... it starts healing itself, you start emitting the cells that actually says, I'm going to start repairing everything in our body. But in terms of water fasting, yes, I have done it, and... I would only suggest that you just, for me personally, don't consume any more than 3 litres in a day. You're supposed to do it based on your water and your actual body weight because you can actually drown your brain. You consume too much water. Yes, you're going to, get rid of all your nutrients, but you can actually drown your brain. So, that's just my experience, just kind of drunk within my body weight limit of water.
I think this is where consultation is useful because... Again, God made a good body, and God made a good body, and God is one for balance. So the idea of doing too much of any good thing starts to work against us. So we have to know, why are we doing that quantity of water? What is it that we are aiming at? Because to have a lot of water and then in between have a lot of sugar, I'm not so sure what we're making.
I'm also talking about prolonged water fasting. So for context, I used to be type 2 diabetic. When I was 25, I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. And I went on a 14-day water fast to get rid of it, and it hasn't been back since. And I did it because my auntie was doing a study on it, but she was looking into hypertension and how it reverses hypertension for people. But for me, it reversed the diabetes as well. So I was wondering, why is that not pushed by normal doctors and only by students, really?
I think doctors would be on a dangerous slope to advocate that because water is water. It has no nourishment in it. So if you go telling people to go on an extreme water, what happens to the rest of the diet? What happens to the other things? Because water is not protein. So where are you getting the protein? From your stores, for your fat stores. Right, okay. So remember, if you're talking doctors have to be careful what they put out because they tell us don't use other people's medication and people do. so far less for advice. So it's better to go for a consultation with a person who will also monitor you. Because if you get to a place where they're thinking, what did you say happened last night? What did you say is happening now? They are the ones with the expertise on how the body works to say, I think you need to pause. Right? But if you put it out there just like that, then it can be misused and it can be very dangerous. So it's better that people just walk with somebody who is knowledgeable enough to hold you accountable and who can see signs. We don't have everybody walking dead men like the one that's in our presence. Very, 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 very. Yeah. So that would be the thing to do, not to push something like that out there, widely.
Okay, so we've got 2 more questions.
Do you want to say anything on that?
Amber, is there anything you want to add to that?
I don't think so. I was thinking about something. I do want to say more, but not on that.
Not on that.
Okay, so what we'll do is after the 2 questions, we'll come back to you, okay? So, Devon.
Thank you, everyone up there, for your contributions. We really appreciated hearing from you and the expertise that you've brought. Men, in general, probably pay less attention to their well-being. And in particular, I remember someone, I'm not going to mention any names, told me off for using shower gel to wash my hair. And it's amazing how you can believe that shower gel is doing the job that it's doing when you're supposed to use the correct products on your hair. So I'd like to know if you'd be kind enough to comment on that, having rebuked me for it several years ago. Oh, thank you.
I mentioned to you lightly.
Oh, it was a welcome comment because I've stopped doing it. Well,
good.
it might be too late, but
I think a lot of men, because I always ask men what they use on their hair, and it is shower gel. Shower gel is the rawest form of soap after probably washing up liquid. So if you think about the properties that there's not like maybe a little bit of oils, but it's not made for your hair. And also it would count as a clarifying shampoo. And if I'm using a clarifying shampoo, I'm going to go for a moisturizing afterwards, and you don't do that. And then most men don't condition. So, when I showed you the cuticle slide, all you constantly do is open your cuticle layer, and now your hair is prone to get damaged all throughout the day. And if it's always raised, eventually your hair's damaged, and the scalp is suffering as well. And then you get something called miniaturization. Your hair strands get smaller and smaller. You'll notice the thinning. You won't go and seek help. Or you'll go to the hair shop and look for help, when really there's dermatologists, there's trichologists that can help you. So I just think men who have probably hairdressers that are girlfriends, they always tell me they definitely still have shampoo and conditioner, but otherwise it doesn't happen that often.
So you mean shower gel did that to Devon? Okay.
Also, actually,
I just had to ask.
do you know what else? Your pillowcase. Your pillowcase. Every night, your beautiful cotton pillowcase is dragging the moisture out of your hair. So if you got a satin pillowcase or a silk, if you got some real big money, it would literally change your life. And it's also good for your skin.
Okay. Yeah, mine is a health question. I think you can all respond. I work in the NHS, and I think, I work with children. I work in CAMS, Children Under Mental Health Services, and we are seeing a significant increase in autism and in ADHD and all these diseases, and also predominantly in people with color, black people. There is not enough research yet, but I don't know, is there a correlation between diet, sugar, that's triggering, even Caucasian? I mean, most of my patients are Caucasian, but I know, and that's, I'm in SADC, but I'm just wondering whether there's a correlation, because in my generation, we didn't have autism to these levels and ADHD to these levels. And is there anything that's changed with our diet that's causing this, or is it more research? I don't know.
Candice, can you play the the video, please. There is a video there that speaks about gut health. I think I'd like Candice to play it and then to say a bit more on it. But definitely, if you Google gut health and autism, gut health and ADHD, if you Google it, you see that there is direct relation to it. And you're right, it's gone crazy. It's true that they can't cope with it. They can't find the video. Okay, let me, did you want to say something?
Yeah. I think on that, when you were talking, I was thinking about the study that someone told me about, because I think a lot of people are confused and have a lot of questions about the prevalence of neurodiversity and autism and ADHD and how that's gone up. And I think if you go on social media, you see a lot more about autism and ADHD and being neurodiverse. And I think there's lots of different, people have lots of different beliefs about that, and I think everyone's entitled to their own belief about what might be causing that. But I think that there is a lot more of an understanding about neurodiversity. So people are hearing a lot more about it from social media, from other people, and then it's like, oh, maybe that's me, or maybe that's my child, and we're a lot more open about talking about it. And I think that has a massive impact on then people's openness to it and willingness to kind of think about that as an option. Somebody told me about a study about left-handedness. I've got to try and remember this now. So I think if you look at the percentage of people that are left-handed from like a certain time frame, maybe it was like the 70s or the 80s or something, you will see that it is so steep, the curve. Like the prevalence of people that are left-handed is just shot up astronomically. But what that is due to is the fact that back in the day, at school, you weren't allowed to be left-handed. You got told that you had to use your right hand. You had to use your right hand to write, to draw, and if you used your left hand, you'd be punished for that. Whereas as we've gone on a bit time-wise, now it's much more accepted to be left-handed. People are left-handed at school, and there's special scissors and pens. So it's not that more people are left-handed, it's that more people are able to be left-handed because of their environment. So I think you can think about that as well when you think about autism and ADHD, and how do we just have more room to be left-handed now, whereas we didn't before. A lot of people had to conform to what society and what people told them that they had to be like, whereas now it's, maybe it's okay to feel or think differently or act differently in that way. So I just encourage you to always do your own research and think about things and have your own beliefs. I think that's really important. But just make sure that you do that research and you do think about it and think about different options for why something might be the case. But yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Thank you so much. What I'm going to suggest now is this. I'm going to suggest that you can continue the conversation. So if Kat's going to be in that corner there, yeah. If you want to talk about hair, yeah, have that conversation with Kat at her stand. If you're interested, and Lisa Marie, please, I really encourage you. The story behind her brand is very, very powerful. Very, very powerful, yeah? And Lisa Marie's over here. Again, we got more information in terms of gut health, etc. over here. But also there are other people. So, for example, is Antoinette still here? Or is she gone? Antoinette, is she gone? Okay, fine. Okay, again, Amber, if you're interested in getting involved in the research, have a conversation with Amber. If you're interested in really thinking about how do we as a church shift things, Ronald's there for a conversation as well. And also, Amadei, one of the things about, has anybody tasted Amadei's food? Yeah? Yeah? It is amazing, yeah? But again, he has made a decision to understand food. He has made a decision to develop a salt. So again, Amadei is here. have that conversation with him as well, yeah? So what we're going to do, we're going to spend around, say, 20 minutes having those conversations, and then we're going to slowly come to a close. Do you have the video?
Okay, there's a table that we haven't really spoke about directly, which is this table here. Our Future Health, this is an organization that has
I have a lot to give.
Decided to target 5 million people in the UK to be able to build a bank so that research can be done. What has happened over periods of time is that certain communities haven't been called to the table. Not that we have been deliberately excluded. We just didn't know about it. And that, therefore, means that we are not in a good place when cures are found, when different things happen. So today we have front seat because Amber is here. But if Amber didn't come here, she's doing her research, none of us know about it. We can't benefit. And this company, Our Future Health, they have taken a stance to be able to find us or help us to find them. So we're just going to hear a little bit more about this company.
I have a lot to give.
Our Future Health will help everyone.
Future generations, our grandchildren.
So many of the diseases that we see are preventable. Anything that we can do will have a huge impact on our future.
You have like a little test, see what your cholesterol's saying.
A lot of my family work in healthcare, but I don't, so it's one way of contributing.
I get to be part of something massive and hopefully help people in future generations.
Representation is important. We need to reflect diversity of people across communities.
Do it, go fully for it. You're helping not just yourself, helping your community, your relatives, essentially helping to change the world for the better.
I have a lot to give.
I have a lot to give.
I have a lot to give.
Tengo mucho para dar.
I have a lot to give.
I have a lot to give.
J'ai beaucoup à donner.
We have a lot to give.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And all of us sitting here have a lot to give. To be able to engage giving, there are some leaflets here. They've made it possible that we can join in to become a volunteer, to be part of this. You scan the code that's on here, or you speak to me and I give you a way for you to connect and to join this effort.
When we launched Our Future Health to the public in October 2022, we had a big target in mind. We wanted 5 million volunteers to take part in our research program from across the UK. Today I can announce that we've passed 2.5 million volunteers. That's more than the population of Birmingham, Cardiff and Glasgow combined. We've seen tremendous support for the program over the last 3 years, and Our Future Health is already the world's largest health research program of its kind. And we're going to get bigger and better in the years ahead. Last week, the UK government announced up to £354 million in new funding for our programme over the coming 4 years. We'll use this investment to expand our programme and accelerate the discoveries of new ways to prevent, detect and treat disease. Those discoveries will lead to better outcomes for patients and will help to reduce pressure on the NHS in the future. There's still a long journey ahead of us, but our destination is clear. With the help of the UK public, we can help everyone to live longer and healthier lives.
So money is being spent on our health. We are either going to join the table or complain when the shoes that were made don't fit our feet, but we didn't put our feet to be measured. We have somebody here who has...
I'm a testimonial of this. I think it's quite important that everyone scan the QR code. I've done it, and at the end you get £20 voucher. But it's not only the voucher. It's very simple. You scan the QR code, you type in your postcode, and it will direct you to the nearest center where they're doing it. They'll do your health check, they'll do your blood check, they do your height, your weight, and you can ask all sorts of questions. And I think it's quite important that as a community, if you were taking part in the clinical trials, they'll take a bit of blood sample, but it's quite important to do it. Yeah? You get a £20 when you finish. Yeah. Do you want to say something?
Sorry, I just wanted to quickly touch on the importance of being a part of a biobank. Basically, it's a reservoir for research. And what you find is a lot of people of our color don't enter research, and we wonder why certain things or certain studies are not done according to our genetics and stuff like that. But it's because when you build a biobank, people work based on what they have, and biobanks are there as a reservoir so that whatever research comes down the line, all this nonsense of, oh, they're going to use my DNA, they're going to have data on me, it's all rubbish, absolute rubbish, because you find that people of our ethnicity don't sign up for research. People of other ethnicities signs up for research, and it's done based on what they have. So you find their research is that tailored to pregnant ladies, but the pregnant ladies are across as well. So I worked in a research that had to do with biobanks, so I had to process blood. And more than likely, you find the Asian communities, you find the white British communities, but the minority of black communities, except they have a certain disease that they then sign up to the biobank, and it doesn't have to get there because they do different kind of studies go on. There's lupus study, there's study into cancer, but genetics matter a lot when you're doing research. Phenotyping, all these kind of things matter a lot when you're doing research. But if we don't have that information, science is only limited to what you give it. But if you can empower it, it can do so much more. So when we get angry, we shouldn't get angry at the system, so to speak. We should be angry with ourselves first. Because how are we changing the system? By lending ourselves to it as well.
Thank you so much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to be very mindful of what we've heard today. I want us to be mindful for yourself as an individual. Yeah? What are you going to start? What process are you going to start today? Yeah? Okay? Because to run the race, we have to be fit for purpose. Amen? I want you to think carefully about your children. Huh? One more video? So one more video? Okay, we'll show this video, sorry.
All the probiotics in P84 celebrate this love biome difference. They are unique strains, 15 unique strains that combined give you that 40 billion CFUs. And it's really celebrates that center of human health that we discussed just a second ago. But it does it in kind of in slightly different ways. So P1 is really about the connectivity and diversity and really that ability of the gut microbiome to radiate out and influence multiple axes and systems within our body. P2, or Phytopower 2, really focuses on the importance of those short chain fatty acids that are essential for our lining of our intestines, for their overall health, the ability to detox our systems, and kind of balance all of those functions in our microbiome.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so I'm going to encourage you, stand up, let's go to the stands, let's have conversations. Leave here with your questions answered, yeah? Okay? Leave here with your questions answered, but also leave here with an intention to do something different.